3 months into the relationship, Nnenna discovered she was pregnant. Her world came crashing down. The shame and fear were overwhelming. She knew her parents would be devastated. On Kisses and Hugs Club today for singles and couples. Episode 85. The Silent Battle. Nnenna's tragic end. In the village of Odudu, nestled between rolling hills and a meandering river, lived a young woman named Nnenna. Life in Odudu was steeped in rich traditions, with every family carrying the weight of their ancestors' expectations. Nnenna's family was no different. Her parents, both respected elders in the community, held high hopes for their children, but this respect and expectation became a double-edged sword for Nnenna. Nnenna was the eldest daughter in a family where beauty and social standing often dictated one's value. Her immediate younger sister, Adama, was often praised for her beauty and accomplishments, while Nnenna was frequently overlooked. This constant comparison by their parents eroded Nnenna's self-esteem over time, making her feel inadequate and unloved. Nnenna's parents, though well-intentioned, inadvertently neglected her need for approval and love. They often praised Adama openly, citing her as an example for Nnenna to follow. "Look at Adama, how graceful she is," they would say. "Why can't you be more like your sister?" These comments, meant to motivate, instead cut deep into Nnenna's heart, leaving scars of insecurity and self-doubt. Desperate to gain her parents' approval and to feel beautiful, Nnenna decided to work as an apprentice under a local beautician, Mama Nkechi. Mama Nkechi was known in Odudu for her skill in enhancing natural beauty with intricate hairstyles and traditional body art. Nnenna hoped that by mastering the art of beauty, she would feel better about herself and perhaps gain the recognition she craved from her parents. Day after day, Nnenna diligently learned to apply intricate designs and styles, hoping each successful creation would fill the void inside her. However, despite her growing expertise, she found that her self-esteem issues persisted. The external beauty she crafted did nothing to heal the internal scars. Her parents remained indifferent to her efforts. Their praise still focused on Adama. Feeling disheartened, Nnenna sought other ventures to find her sense of worth. She tried learning traditional dance, hoping that the grace and rhythm would bring her some inner peace. She also dabbled in crafts, creating beautiful beadwork and woven baskets. But no matter what she did, nothing seemed to fill the void left by years of feeling inadequate. During this tumultuous time, Nnenna's friends began to exert a significant influence on her. These friends, who were more liberal and less bound by traditional values, convinced her that she needed a boyfriend to feel beautiful and accepted. They told her stories of their own romantic exploits, painting a picture of love and attention that Nnenna longed for. It was through these friends that Nnenna met Owabina, a boy from a neighboring village. Owabina was charming and attentive, a stark contrast to the indifference she felt at home. He showered her with compliments and gifts, making her feel special and loved for the first time in her life. Owabina's words were like a balm to Nnenna's wounded self-esteem. He told her she was beautiful, that she deserved to be happy, and that he was the one who could give her that happiness. Caught up in the whirlwind of emotions, Nnenna quickly became deeply involved with Owabina. She started skipping her apprenticeship to spend more time with him, neglecting her studies and distancing herself from her family. Mama Nkechi noticed the change in Nnenna, her once eager apprentice now distracted and absent. She tried to counsel Nnenna, but the young woman, blinded by her newfound affection, did not heed the warnings. As Nnenna struggled with her self-esteem and sought validation, her younger sister Adama thrived. Adama's beauty and charm caught the eye of a suitor from a well-respected family in the neighboring village. The news of Adama's engagement brought joy and excitement to the family, and the preparations for her marriage began in earnest. The contrast between Adama's blossoming future and Nnenna's ongoing struggles became even more pronounced. While Adama was showered with attention and praise, Nnenna felt increasingly overshadowed and forgotten. The comparisons became more frequent and more hurtful. "Look at Adama," their mother would say. "She is getting married to such a fine young man. When will you find someone, Nnenna?" The marriage plans for Adama added another layer of pressure on Nnenna. As her sister was celebrated and admired, Nnenna's feelings of inadequacy deepened. The wedding preparations were a constant reminder of what she lacked, both in her parents' eyes and in her own. The festive atmosphere at home felt like a cruel contrast to Nnenna's internal turmoil. The relationship with Obinna quickly turned toxic. He pressured Nnenna into a physical relationship, telling her it was a natural progression and that everyone did it. Nnenna, desperate to hold on to the feeling of being wanted, complied. Her friends, who had initially encouraged the relationship, now seemed distant and judgmental. They mocked her for being careless and naive. 3 months into the relationship, Nnenna discovered she was pregnant. Her world came crashing down. The shame and fear were overwhelming. She knew her parents would be devastated, unable to comprehend how their daughter could have strayed so far from their teachings. Her friends, who had once been her confidants, now ridiculed her and offered unhelpful advice. They suggested she use traditional herbs to induce an abortion, but Nnenna refused, fearing it would harm her further. Her parents' reaction was as she feared. They were heartbroken and angry, unable to understand how their daughter had fallen so far from grace. Nnenna's father, a stern elder, could barely look at her. Her mother wept for days, the sound of her sobs echoing through their home. Adama, who had always been the favored child, looked at Nnenna with a mix of pity and disappointment. In her desperation, Nnenna sought help from a local healer named Onwa. Onwa, known for his dubious practices, claimed to have a solution. He assured Nnenna that he could help her, that he had performed many such procedures without any issues. Desperate and feeling cornered, Nnenna agreed to the illegal abortion. The procedure, however, was far from safe. Onwa's methods were crude and unclean. Nnenna experienced severe complications almost immediately. Her health deteriorated rapidly, but she was too ashamed and scared to seek proper medical help. Her body, weakened by the ordeal, could not fight off the infections that set in. Within days, Nnenna succumbed to the complications, leaving her family and community in shock and grief. Nnenna's tragic story spread like wildfire through the village. The village was gripped by a profound sense of sorrow and loss. The elders called a meeting to address the issues of self-esteem and the influence of non-traditional values on the youth. The once vibrant atmosphere of the village was now filled with whispers of caution and regret. Mama Nkechi, devastated by the loss of her promising apprentice, took it upon herself to educate the young women in the village about self-worth and the dangers of seeking validation from external sources. She organized regular gatherings where she spoke about the importance of inner beauty and self-respect. She shared Nnenna's story, hoping it would serve as a cautionary tale to others. Nnenna's parents, realizing their role in her demise, started a support group for parents to learn how to affirm and nurture their children. They invited other parents to share their experiences and discuss ways to better communicate with their children. They shared their story, hoping to prevent other families from experiencing the same heartbreak. Adama, who had always been the center of attention, also changed. She became more compassionate and understanding, realizing that the constant comparisons had harmed her sister deeply. She joined Mama Nkechi in her efforts to educate the young women of the village, using her own experiences to emphasize the importance of self-love and acceptance. In time, the village began to heal. The elders began to support the youth, providing guidance and mentorship. Nnenna's death was not in vain. Her story brought about a change in the way the community approached the upbringing of their children. The emphasis shifted from external accomplishments and beauty to internal values and self-worth. Parents became more mindful of their words and actions, ensuring they provided a nurturing environment for all their children. The memory of Nnenna's life and death remained a poignant reminder of the cost of insecurity and the importance of love and affirmation within the family. Her grave, marked by a simple stone, became a place of reflection for many in the village. People would visit, leaving flowers and saying prayers, a symbol of the lessons learned from her tragic story. Years later, Odudu thrived as a community that valued each of its members for their unique qualities. The story of Nnenna was passed down to new generations as a lesson in the importance of self-esteem and the dangers of seeking validation from the wrong places. In the end, Nnenna's legacy was one of transformation. Her life and death sparked a movement that changed the village for the better, ensuring that no other young woman would have to endure the same pain and tragedy. Odudu became a beacon of hope and resilience, a community united by the lessons learned from one girl's quest for love and acceptance.
Do you want more? Read the full blog by clicking on the link in bio or description to navigate to the devotionals, or go to www.khcpartners.org. Watch full video on youtube.com/@PastorDunamis. For one-on-one therapy, counseling, or an intervention in your marriage or relationship, go to bit.ly/therapy needed. To get courses for singles and couples, go to bit.ly/course. To partner with us, go to www.khcpartners.org/give.